What is going on, everybody? Sports Expert here, and we are here with our Week 7 NFL Power Rankings. So before we start the video, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, turn on the post notification bell, like the video, comment what you think. Liking and commenting helps us in the algorithm, so I would really appreciate that very much. Comment what you think about the Power Rankings, comment what you would change and such. So yeah, let's get right into it. As at 32, we have the New England Patriots coming off another tough loss against the Houston Texans, 41-21, I believe it was. Although you did get to see Drake May play some good football. He had a couple solid passes there. I believe he had 3 touchdown passes overall. He had that 1 interception, but it's like, hey, his first start against a pretty dang good team with the Patriots offensive line. I mean, not too bad at all, honestly. So I guess there's some moral victory here for the New England Patriots. And what one team there's really no moral victory for is number 31, the Cleveland Browns. They are coming off a 20-16 loss at the Philadelphia Eagles. They haven't scored 20 points yet in a game. They're just, everything has gone off the rails. Sean Watson had actually a decent second half. The offensive line has been brutal for the Browns this year. It's just gotten to a point where they just can't win games with it. So Kevin Stefanski, just nothing going there. At 30, we have the Carolina Panthers, and they are coming off a home loss against the red-hot Atlanta Falcons. Andy Dalton threw an interception in the game. He threw 2 picks. Panthers offense didn't look terrible, but obviously the defense struggled once again. Might be the worst in football. They have injuries and such. No Shaq Thompson, one of their better players, and it's just gone to a point where they just can't win games with that defense. So, yeah. At 29, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are coming off a 35-16 blowout loss in London. When they're getting blown out in London, you know it's bad. This Jaguars team is a mess. Doug Peterson said they needed a culture change, but they might need a coaching change as well. Trevor Lawrence is not in the greatest position. Didn't play a great game, but the receivers also couldn't haul in a pass to save their lives. So, the Jaguars fall to 29. At 28, we have the Las Vegas Raiders coming off a blowout loss at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their quarterback situation's a joke. Gardner Minshew, he's not terrible. I understand why they benched him, but Aiden O'Connell's not going to give you anything better. There's limitations with his game, so I'm just going back to Gardner Minshew the rest of the season. I really wouldn't trust Aiden O'Connell at this rate, at this juncture for the Raiders. They should be trading Adams soon. At 27, we have the Miami Dolphins coming off a bye. Their situation is in flux. The quarterback situation isn't very good. The defense is up and down. The Dolphins are kind of where they should be. At 26, we have the Tennessee Titans. And they are coming off another loss at home, 20-17. I have 2 losses in Pick'em from this past week. I did make late changes. I had the Lions and the Bengals winning. I made late changes off camera. So, yeah, but I have 2 losses, and the Titans were one of them. Titans always screw me. I don't know why I keep picking them. I won't be picking them until they win a game now. Brian Callahan just hasn't been very good. His play calling has stunk, and Will Levis has obviously regressed. But I'm not too sure what's going on with the Titans. It's just not great. At 25, we have the Los Angeles Rams, and they're coming off a bye week. They're 1-4. They're out of sorts, and that's because of all the injuries they have. Not too much Sean McVay can do when half your starters are pretty much banged up. So Rams will look to get healthy and back on track after the bye. At 24, we have the New York Giants coming off a 17-7 loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. It was just another poor night for Daniel Jones in primetime. The Giants really couldn't find much. They had to Brian Daboll had to call some really creative plays for this offense to even work. What I've noticed, the Giants are a way better road team than a home team for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because of the pressure of the New York crowd, but yeah. At 23, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They are coming off a blowout loss at the Green Bay Packers. This team is just, they're very close to being 1-5. They're just not playing great football. Defense is struggling. They're giving up big plays left and right. It's just Jonathan Gannon's got to get it together, because people had high hopes for Jonathan Gannon this season. He started off solid, but gonna have to get it going soon. So yeah. At 22, we have the New York Jets. They have Monday Night Football. They play the Buffalo Bills. They did just fire Robert Saleh. The offense isn't looking too good. The defense looks okay still, but obviously a team that looks out of sorts. They have 2 wins, and they're against the Titans and the Patriots. Not great. At 21, we have the New Orleans Saints coming off a 51-27 blowout loss at home against the Buccaneers. They were down 17-0 early in this game, and they stormed back to take a 27-24 halftime lead, but the Bucks were able to just go out and win the second half 27-0. They made adjustments to Spencer Rattler, and the Saints, if they're going to want to win games without Derek Carr, they're going to have to find ways to adjust the offense with Spencer Rattler out there, especially for 2 halves of football instead of 1. And they got to get Chris Olave healthy. He has a concussion. At 20, we have the Seattle Seahawks coming off a home loss against the 49ers, 36-24. They're struggling right now. Their defense might be the worst in football now. Looking at how the Giants just absolutely diced them up compared to the Bengals, who have a terrible defense, the Seahawks defense might be the worst in football. I was a huge fan of Mike McDonald in the offseason. This is going to be maybe a mini rant because I really thought he was the best coaching candidate of any of the candidates. But his coaching staff, him and his coaching staff have absolutely sucked so far. The in-game management has been terrible. The play calling, don't even get me started with that, on both sides of the ball has been abysmal. The way they use some of their players, the injury management, it's been brutal. I just don't know if Mike McDonald, I know it's only 6 games, and it's a really inexperienced staff, but at the same time, they got to get it together because what am I looking at right now? I mean, DK Metcalf isn't happy. I don't think Geno is too happy. I mean, Mike McDaniel, get it together. Get it together. So, yeah. At 19, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Don't even get me started with them. 47-9 at home loss against the Detroit Lions. Jerry Jones doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's stubborn. He's happy with his money. That's what it is with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, happy with his money. Dude has absolutely sucked this season. Gonna say that too. And, they have no running game because they didn't want to go out and sign Derrick Henry. So they can't really open up the passing game consistently. And that's because of Jerry Jones. Stubborn. And the Cowboys are just decked with injuries on defense. It's going to be a long season for the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to the postseason, barring something crazy. At 18, we have the Denver Broncos coming off a blowout loss at home against the Chargers. Yeah, I'm going to say blowout because although they only lost by 7, that whole game they were dominated. They were absolutely dominated that whole game. The defense didn't look as good as the past few weeks. Patrick Surtain still looked pretty. I mean, not Patrick Surtain, but I think I think he got hurt. So that's really not ideal for the Denver Broncos. I mean, shoot, looking at it, Bo Nix struggled. It's just, Bo Nix had the touchdown pass, but that was more because Cortland Sutton made a great catch. The Broncos, just a pretty poor performance overall. Maybe they were due for one of those, but it was interesting. At 17, we have the Cincinnati Bengals coming off a 17-7 win against the New York Giants. Yeah, they won, but they didn't look good at all. The offense didn't look great. The play calling wasn't. Zach Taylor coached another poor game. It was just one of those things for the Bengals. Although they won, it just wasn't a very inspiring performance. At 16, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and they're coming off that win against the Denver Broncos. They look good, although guys such as Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston got hurt. They were still able to find ways to win with and without them in this game. And give credit to Jim Harbaugh. He had that episode. I don't know what exactly it was, some heart thing, but I think he was all right now. But he was able to come in and out and, coach a pretty solid game. So him and Jesse Minter. So good job at the Chargers this week. At 15, we have the Indianapolis Colts coming off a 20-17 win against the Tennessee Titans on the road. Really nice game plan by Shane Steichen. Joe Flacco played a solid game once again. The Colts put them in their place. They were down 17-10 in the second half, but they did allow that touchdown on 30-19, but they were able to regroup after that, and that's what pro teams do. They try to regroup and try to just go out there and shake it off, and that's what the Colts did, and the Titans don't do that. At 14, we have the Philadelphia Eagles coming off a 20-16 win against Cleveland Browns. Another ugly win for the Eagles. They're getting away with some of these games, and it's just gotten to the point where, is Nick Sirianni the man for the job? Probably not. I think we kind of know that by now, but they're going to keep riding with him, and I'm not going to tell him to ride the pine, So A.J. Brown came back. He looked great. Devontae Smith looked good. I mean, the Eagles, why are you try-harding against the 2024 Cleveland Browns? I mean, that is pathetic. But okay, they win. At 13, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a road win against the Raiders. I mean, good performance by the Raiders. I know the Raiders don't have a lot to be inspired about right now, but, Mike Tomlin coached a good game and a bounce back after that poor performance against the Cowboys. They were up until the end. I feel like Tomlin kind of let that one slip away himself, and the Steelers just weren't able to get much going, but they were able to get much more going against the Raiders. Najee Harris had a really good game. They established the run, and that was really good to see for them. Russell Wilson was active, I believe, but he was more the emergency quarterback than anything. At 12, we have the Buffalo Bills, and they have Monday Night Football against the Jets. The Bills, they're beating bad teams, but they're also losing to good teams, such as the Texans and the Ravens. We'll see what they can do against the Jets tonight. At the Jets might have new life with Jeff Ulbrich under center at coach. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. At 11, we have the San Francisco 49ers coming off that 36-24 win against the Seahawks. Although the 49ers got a nice win against the Seahawks, I still have questions. Can they close games? Can they coach better in the second half? It's just one of those things. They have the talent. Can they stay healthy? There's questions here. A very good team. They were my pick to make the Super Bowl in the NFC, but we'll see. Kyle Shanahan's got to step it up a bit still. At 10, we have the Chicago Bears. I have them making the playoffs in my early predictions in the preseason at the 7th seed. They're looking good now. They're coming off that 35-16 win against the Jaguars in London. Caleb Williams looks like a man right now. His last couple of performances, I know he's played the Panthers and the Jaguars, but still, it's progress for a rookie. That offensive line is blocking much better. Cole Kmet looks like someone that's doing his thing. Matt Eberflus is coaching a really good game here and there with his defense. Very good defensive coach, no doubt about it. See if he can stay as a solid head coach, but we'll see. No more Getsy anymore, so that helps. I mean, they could have put Justin Fields in a better situation, but they didn't. But it is what it is. At 9, we have the Atlanta Falcons coming off a win against the Carolina Panthers. I don't know what the final score was, 38-20, 41-20, something like that. I don't know. But they won by a few scores, and not too surprising there. The offense looks good. The defense doesn't look amazing, but I think some of it is just, it's just one of those things where it's like the Bucs game, that was going to be a shootout regardless. I mean, the Falcons were scoring, the Bucs were scoring. Those teams wanted to go for toe, and the Panthers did get some points, but I don't think the defense played terrible. But Kirk Cousins is really meshing with this offense very well. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson are all being used correctly by Zach Robinson. Terrific offensive mind. Absolutely terrific. As a Cleveland Browns fan, I wanted him as our offensive coordinator. We hired Ken Dorsey for whatever reason, but terrific offensive mind, and the Falcons are looking good because of it. So, yeah, good job, Raheem Morris Company. One of the more underrated hires this offseason. At 8, we have the Washington Commanders. They are coming off a 27-13, I want to say. I can't remember what the exact score was, against the Baltimore Ravens on the road. Jane Daniels kind of came down to earth, although I don't think the game was totally on him. Their defense really wasn't able to do too much against the Ravens, not too surprising there. Ravens were able to run the ball fine. Lamar Jackson made some nice passes to Mark Andrews and stuff. So the Commanders, they'll be fine. It's just one of those games I think they were due for. The young team, still kind of learning. So Dan Quinn's Commanders should be fine. At 7, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off that 51-27 win against the Saints. It looked like they were just going to slip away for a second there. They were up 17-0, getting down 27-24 out of nowhere. Saints had all the momentum, and then Chris Godwin comes to life, had a huge game. Baker Mayfield threw for, I believe, 4 to 5 touchdowns. I don't know what it exactly was, but... And yeah, Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker were able to show up. Sean Tucker, he was pleased with his performance, so Bucks at 7. Good stuff there by Todd Bowles and company. Made the adjustments. At 6, we have the Kansas City. I do worry about their defense still. Whether they can stay healthy, whether they can play consistent football and make adjustments against non-rookie quarterbacks. I don't Spencer Rattler. At 6, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. And they are coming off a bye week. So, 5-0 on the bye. Haven't played the prettiest football this season. That's why they're at 6. And, Patrick Mahomes has been up and down this season. They do need another receiver, so I don't know if that's going to hinder them rest of the season. But people are going to question them at 6. I had them at 2 and 3 the past few weeks, but the more I look at some of the teams that I had thriving in the preseason, those teams are starting to really find it, and I think those teams are starting to play a bit better than the Chiefs overall. Such as the Green Bay Packers at 4 and 2. They now have 2 wins now. They have the win at the Rams, and now the win at home against the Cardinals. Jordan Love is looking much better. He's getting better as weeks go on. He gets off to slow starts, but then he ends up going off. So it's just one of those things with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. So Romeo Doubs, he was suspended last week, but he was able to have a really good game this week. So look like everything's getting cleaned up. And Matt LaFleur is a hell of a coach. At 4, we have the Houston Texans, and they are coming off, and Jeff Hafley's actually doing a pretty solid job now over these last couple weeks. Texans are at number 4, coming off that 41-21 win against the New England Patriots. C.J. Stroud played fine. There were times where he made some poor decisions here and there, but he played a fine game. Early they weren't finishing drives, but second half they scored a decent amount of points, and they were able to really overwhelm this young Patriots team. So good job by D'Amico Ryans to make some adjustments. At 3, we have the Detroit Lions. They are coming off that 47-9 win at the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have now lost 4 games in a row at home, and all in pretty much in blowout fashion. And the Lions were able to add on to that as the 4th. So the Detroit Lions, just one of those things where they just look really good. They have 1 loss. It was a home loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ever since then, they've looked great on offense. If you don't have a pass rush, you're not stopping the Detroit Lions. They didn't have Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, or Marshawn Elam. Couldn't stop the Detroit Lions, just like the Seattle Seahawks. So coming off the bye, the Lions were prepared and mentally ready to win this game. So good. Hats off to Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, who should already be a head coach in this league. But hey, maybe Cleveland Browns or Jacksonville Jaguars will be calling. At 2, we have, although I don't think Stefanski's a bad coach. At 2, we have the Baltimore Ravens coming off and I said Stefanski because I think Jimmy Haslam will make him a scapegoat because Jimmy Haslam thinks everything's about him and he signed Deshaun Watson. Him and D. At 2, we have the Baltimore Ravens. They are coming off that home win against the Commanders, 27-13 or whatever it was. Lamar Jackson played a solid game with his legs and his arm. He had that 1 interception earlier, but that really wasn't his fault. It was Mark Andrews' fault. He just went through his hands. But Mark Andrews was able to bounce back with a touchdown a little bit later, 13 yards. The Ravens were able to play fundamental football, and John Harbaugh was able to coach circles around Dan Quinn, who's coached very good football this season. So really solid performance for the Ravens, executionally by the players and the coaches. So good job by them there. And at 1, we have the Minnesota Vikings coming off a bye. I'm not going to put the Vikings down. They're looking really good as number 1 team. They look good offensively. They look good defensively. They're well coached on both sides of the ball by Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, who should get another chance to be a head coach. Obviously, I've stated that maybe his relationship with Tua and the lawsuit may hinder things, but I still think he's doing a hell of a job to get a head coaching job. So, yeah, looking at the Vikings, they look really good. Sam Darnold looks good. Justin Jefferson, once again, is doing the thing on the offense. So, Jonathan Grenard, their pickup in free agency, along with Andrew Van Ginkel, another guy they picked up in free agency, have really led this defense. And hopefully they can keep Cameron Bynum in free agency, because if they can't, that'd be tough, because they're probably not going to keep Brian Flores. But the Vikings look great. There's no doubt about it, and they're the number 1 team in the power rankings for the 4th or 5th straight week, I believe. So I appreciate everyone being here, Sports Expert. Please hit the subscribe button for news to the channel. Turn on the post notification bell. Like the video. Comment what you think. I would appreciate it very much. Sports Expert here. I'm out, guys. Peace.